Sahana vavatu Sahana bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to everyone. And we welcome everyone for the satsang of Sat Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. And we are doing the Gita Vahini now. And for people who got the email and the electronic version, we are on page 15 and we are starting on chapter 3. And for the people who have the hard copy, it is page 18, chapter 3. So please look at that. So we finished chapter 2 last week. Just I will summarize what we discussed last week, 3 important points. So one is for everyone to remember, whatever happens, happens by God's will. That's why it says that is the formula we should remember. It sometimes looks like why it is happening. So if you question something, that means you are questioning God. You don't know what you are doing. So you have to accept whatever happens by God's will. And second thing is that is for our good. Whatever happens, because He is doing it for our good. Why? Because Sai Baba, He is our mother, and says mother's love. Mother won't do anything wrong to the baby. And here the mother, Swami, is in the love of the thousands of mothers. And He is our Father, both. So how can He do anything? So whatever He is doing by His will and for our good. So you should constantly remember, whenever in life there will be ups and downs, and that is what we have to be constantly remember, like mantra. And second thing we talked about is surrender, because Arjuna was using his head, try to argue and try to get out of his responsibility, his duty. And then the Lord Krishna then said, he went on hearing, but once the Arjuna recognized, I'm confused, I don't know what to do and what not to do. Dharma sammudha cheta, they call that. In life, sometimes we have situation, even great person like Dharmaraja, embodiment of Dharma, sometimes he doesn't know what is right and what is wrong. That time, Lord Krishna, he prayed, like they had to do for Ashwatthama to be, that Drona to kill, some words he has to say, that Lord Krishna guided him. Sometimes you don't know what is wrong. So then best thing is, Lord, I don't know what is right, what is wrong. Please guide me. That is why Arjuna does that. So I surrender to you. So prapanna, shadhimam. So you command me, I now surrender to you. Why? I am not your friend or brother-in-law, which he is, but I am your shishya. When you are a shishya-guru relation, the real good shishyas are implicitly follow the command. Like Shri Baba Satcharita, if you read, Shri Baba said there are 3 kinds of disciples, 3 kinds of duty. One, when you tell them do something, they will postpone. So they won't do it and they will postpone. They won't do at all. Some devotees, like here, just implicitly follow whatever the Guru says, they completely do to the letter. You do this, they will do that. But he says the best is, disciples are those even before the Guru says, anticipating what does the Guru want, it does that. That is the best disciples. Actually, I saw that around Swami, some of the students and some of the faculty members, some of the devotees. So they are so much tuned with God. Even before he tells you do that, I was going with Swami sometime in the car. And Swami doesn't say turn this side, turn that side. This guy goes on doing turn and then the turn that. I said, how does he know? Just unless you are tuned or he watches whatever. Even now, to now I don't know. So they get tuned with, and same thing. Swami can tell the prasad, give to those people. Just he doesn't say the in words. He just with eyes signal, and they get the message. That means they're so tuned with God. When you are tuned with God, you follow. So second thing is implicit obedience for the thing. That's what Arjuna did. And fourth point we learned last week is this: in life you are Brahma and Prema. So when Brahma, that means Brahma is delusion. When you have Brahma, you won't grant Brahman. Swami plays with the words. When you are in Brahma, you won't be realizing Brahman. Brahman is ultimate. So you need to get rid of the Brahma. Once you get rid of the Brahma, you will realize Brahman. And how do you get rid of the Brahma? Only through Prema. And that is what Lord Krishna said. Okay, particularly today, first I would like to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving. And this is the best way. What better way to spend the Thanksgiving? Giving thanks to the Lord, who is the source of everything. He gave us everything. So that is what Thanksgiving, one of the best ways to express love for God, Swami said, is gratitude. That is why people who don't gratitude, they are the worst. That is what Swami quote in one of the discourses, Aditya Pradhyam, Krutagnaya Namaha. The one who is the thing that don't have gratitude, Swami said it looks scary. You will become blind. You will lose your eyes, because Aditya says, teaching you always be grateful to God. The very fact your heart is beating, we are breathing, and we have food, we are able to walk. There are so many people who cannot walk, who cannot see, who cannot hear. We take it granted. Everything is, oh, I can see, I can hear. But you can see, watch people who can't hear, particularly as we get older. I see so many of my friends now that scream, or just if you have to write a message, they won't even know what you are saying. So the very fact you can hear, you can see, walk, talk, everything is gift of God. So always be grateful, thanksgiving for Him, Lord, you have given this. So that's the best way, and this is the better way to sing His glory and talk about Him. That is the best way to express thanksgiving. So this is what we discussed last week. Now we'll start on chapter 3.
Chapter 3. It is more useful for the student to search for his own faults with a view to remove them than to seek excellences so that he might exult over them. A student who does this can progress fast. He is not dragged behind by fear or anxiety. He can move on with faith in the Lord, on whom he has placed all his burdens. He reaches a state of mental calm, which is the sign of the true aspirant. Arjuna arrived at that stage, and then Krishna gave him and through him to all mankind the teaching that confers immortality. For whom was the Gita spoken? Just think of that for one moment. Milk is not taken from the udder for the sake of the cow, for cows do not drink their own milk. Arjuna, the calf, has had his fill. Krishna is ever content and he needs nothing, not to mention about milk. For whose sake was it that the Upanishads were milked by Krishna to get this Gita? Krishna says, it is for the Sudhi Jana, the persons who have Sudhi, intelligence that is moderated by goodness, intelligence that is controlled by virtue. So now Swami is very clear about one thing, that it is for the entire world the Gita has been given. And more importantly, what he says here is Sudhi Jana, for people with intelligence that is moderated by goodness. Then it could be a question that for people who are not falling in this category, is this Gita not given? So Gita is given to everybody, but the people who have this intelligence that is moderated by goodness, they will get benefited. So that is what I take from this very important teaching of Swami.
So here, I think in the beginning, there are three important points. That is why when you read scriptures, everything is Swami's word. Every word is like a mantra. What is mantra means? Mananat prayate, the mantra. Just you can't read it. You can contemplate on the word. Then it will take you across. It will be prayate means it will take you across. So here, first thing he said is, find your own faults. That is the problem with us. So here, Arjuna was going on trying to explain, oh, is it not bad to kill those people? Is it not better to go and do meditation in the caves or the forest? He will try to give all kinds of life. Sometimes we try to give excuses not to face the challenges. So it's not good. So find your own fault. That means we have these various impurities like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mata, matsarya, desire, anger, greed, attachment, pride, and jealousy. So that is the thing we need to get rid of. First, he says that is the first step. That is why Swami read in Prema Vahini. We did it a long time ago at study circle. The best way to develop divine love is practicing two things. But God is omnipresent. We should always think He is with us. Always you have to have that feeling, and He is. It is sometimes we forget He is, and there are proof. The other day we had, I wish you join. We'll probably put it in the YouTube. The young adults. There was a song called "Gift of Love." There is one of the students of Swami, ex-student Sathya. He was telling he was only 22 and he was a student. And he came from the Prashanti to the Prashanti from his hostel. So once he came, Swami said, you turned that way, you took this turn, and then you met that guy. And then he says, you greeted somebody, then somebody you ignored, and somebody you did the namaskar with one hand. But when it came inside to the one of the teachers, you did with both hands. Exactly like a video camera surveillance, exactly he described, to show that God is omnipresent. It is there so many other times. We have heard many stories. This is one recently I heard. Another thing, even the Gokulam in Vrindavan, another student, another faculty member was telling how every little movement, that means now and then he shows that God is with us all the time. That is why it is called Sarva Darshanaha in Vishnu Sahasranam. They say his eyes are everywhere. Sarvato Achishiro Mukam, his eyes and ears. He is watching us. Sometimes we forget. So once we feel he is omnipresent, we won't do anything wrong. That is why you need to find that we will have love. Second thing is, don't find faults in others, find your own faults. And Swami made it very clear. When you show one finger, three are showing towards you. And Lord Jesus said, don't look at the speck, that means little mote in the other side. Look at the beam of wood in your own eye. Because there is so much you have problem, you are looking little thing. Because that is where here he is talking about Holy Mother Sharada Devi. She's a consort of Sri Ramakrishna. And she was on the deathbed. And somebody asked, Mother, your last message, you are leaving the body. He says, child, she gave the profound message. If you want to have peace of mind, don't find faults in others. Find your own faults, because there is a disease. And here Swami is talking about, if you want peace, mental calm, Shanti is peace, right? Prashanti is
Supreme peace.
Supreme peace. Peace that passeth understanding. Peace, that means you are in that stage. This is where Lord Jesus used to say, peace that passeth understanding. That means it is something to be experienced. That supreme peace you can get only by completely surrender and just don't see any faults. And here he is telling that you such a mental calm. That means you are nothing perturbs you. How do you know you are spiritual seeker? This is what Swami is telling. Spiritual sign of a spiritual seeker is the stage of Prashanti. So how do you know that rain? Somebody says, oh, it has rained today. So, the ground is wet. If it is everything is dry and somebody is said to rain, we don't believe it, because there is the wetness. Similarly, proof of the rain is wetness of the ground. Swami says, similarly, the proof that we are spiritually progressing is that supreme state of mental peace, Prashanti. We should have that supreme peace which is undisturbed. So that is what he was telling, where nothing bothers, you are established in that stage. And he says, then you won't have fear and anxiety. So these two things we should feel. Whenever we are afraid of something, oh, Swami said, in double abhayasta, why fear when I'm here? If you're really convinced, we should not have fear. Whenever we have fear or depression or anxiety, that means you don't have faith in God, complete faith. So depression is, worry is about what happened before. Oh, I wish it didn't happen, this happened. And anxiety is, oh, what is going to happen? I'm going to do this, what will be the consequences? Both of them, when you live in the present and feel God is taking care, completely fearless. That's why Swami's, most of the gods is, you have two hastas. One is Abhay Hasta, another is Varada Hasta. So just one is to say be fearless, another is gives boons. But Swami is unique avatar. You don't see the two often in any other things. Krishna, Rama, two hasta, he says Abhay Hasta. That means doubly is reassuring, why fear when I am here. So there is a famous quotation of even Shirdi's avatar when he was there. Why fear when I'm here? So that is another important lesson. Don't find others' faults, find your own, have absolute faith and love for God, then you will have that state of Prashanti. And then next is saying, how blessed we are, fortunate to be reading and listening to the Gita Vahini. It doesn't happen to everybody, let me tell you. Even Lord Krishna says Gita 5,000 years ago, you read it. Only who have his grace can read Gita, can listen to Gita and understand. Other people, that is why Swami beautifully said, your Gita is good, you will listen to Gita. He is very simply said, Telugu. Gita means your line in your head, it is good, you will get the Gita. So that is a great blessing to be able to even listen Gita, because that is the words of the Lord, which is there in all languages. All the great masters like Sri Ramakrishna, Shri Baba, Aurobindo, and every Brahmana Maharshi, everybody talks about Gita. There is a unique scripture. And actually, Mahatma Gandhi used to say, "This Gita is my mother. Whenever I'm in trouble, I go to the Gita. It gives me solace and peace." He always used to carry that. And here, this particular one, I will tell in Sanskrit. This is Dhyana Shloka. This is what Sarvopanishado Gavo. That means all the Upanishads combined together are equivalent to a cow. Imagine a cow. All the Upanishads, because first there were 1,000 Upanishads, then became 108 Upanishads, but 10 Upanishads, Adi Shankara has given commentary. That's because they are the very important Upanishads. So he says all the Upanishads you compare to a cow. Sarvopanishado Gavo, Dogdha Gopalanandana. Who is Lord Krishna? He is the one who is milking the cow. He is the Dogdha Gopalanandana. Partho Vatsaha. Who is Partha, the Arjuna? He is the calf. So to stimulate the cow to give milk, you need the cow. Then it becomes the motherly instinct, it gives the milk. Similarly, this Partha, he is a deserving candidate. So because of that, the Gita came. Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta. Who is the one who is drinking that milk? Not just Partha. Calf drinks, but we all take the milk, which is cows give. So many people, other than the calves, right? Most of the time, probably they won't get it, we get it. So Sudhir Bhokta. People with Sudhi, that means if you have good intellect. If you have bad intellect, you won't be interested in that. This is boring. Who wants to do that? Will do when you are retired. And by the time you are gone, you can't see, you can't hear, you can't understand. You are damaged. So when you are young and energetic, That's why you should have Sudhir Bhokta. Those are the people who have interest in knowing this Gita. And what is this? What do they drink? Sudhir Bhokta, Dugdham. Dugdham means milk. Gitamrutam Mahat. What is kind of milk is it? It's not an ordinary milk. Mahat, great, wonderful milk. What? Amrutam Mahat. It is not an ordinary milk. It gives immortality. Amruta Tattva. Immortality it gives. So beautifully, this cow, which is all the Upanishads, the Lord Krishna in his infinite love and compassion is milking, so that this Gita Amrutam comes, Advaita Amrutam, so that we can drink that. Why should you drink it? So we are become immortal. So no more the cycle of birth and death. Anyway, not the body will die, but you get a stage of complete immortality. That is why this Gita is emphasized so much. And what is the whole purpose? The Sri Ramakrishna beautifully, each master tells Gita, he says, Gita, 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 Gita. What happens? He says, Thagi, Tyagi. So that is what the message of it is. Renounce and attachment. The whole secret is, whatever work you do with a detachment to the fruits of the result, dedicate everything to God. So these are very important messages which is contained. Actually, Vivekananda gave another beautiful example. Like each Upanishad and Veda is like a huge forest. And you go there, each place you find some nice flowers here, there, and another place. Whereas you have to go only one or two flowers. Whereas Lord Krishna made it easy. He plucked all these flowers and put it one place as a garland and gave it to us. So you see that beautiful garland they make. So that is, we had not just put them together, so that is for our sake. So these 700 shlokas they did, just each one is a flower plucked, and some of them are exact replica of what is there in various Upanishads, like Katha Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishads. Some of them almost looks like exactly the same. So he made it so that we enjoy it. You don't need to, because to read each Upanishad this is very hard. You need a guru, you need to know Sanskrit, you need to have a really high metaphysical knowledge and all that. Here, anybody is very simple. So from the ordinary person to the greatest saint can enjoy Gita depending upon our level. So that is the very much importance of this particular message. Please continue, Krishna.
Any questions?
Yeah, I think because now we are meeting in person, but whenever you have any questions or comments, take the microphone and you can ask or comment, because we are in Zoom, so if other people want to hear, I can repeat that, but you are always free to make comments or any questions. Okay?
What of the place where the teaching was given between two opposing armies? Therein lies the great significance of the Gita. On one side, the forces of Dharma, on the other, the forces of Adharma. On one side, the good, and on the other, the bad. Between these two pulls, the individual, unable to decide which course to adopt, weeps in despair. The Lord speaks the Gita to all such and grants them light and courage. Do not think that the distress of Arjuna was just his affair, his problem, and no more. It is a universal human problem. For Arjuna sought from Krishna not prayers, the pleasing, worldly glory of power and status and wealth, but Shreyas, the lasting glory of full joy. He said, Prayas is available for human effort. It can be won by human activity or karma. Why should I crave from you what I can win by my own endeavor? I am not so foolish as all that. Grant me the Shreyas, that is beyond the reach of my effort. Shreyas is not the fruit of karma, it is the fruit of grace. Thus, Arjuna rose to the height of Sharanagati, absolute self surrender, the state called Prapatti. So, it's very interesting. Just talking about, now only we talked about Abhayahasta and Varadahasta. So, I was talking, is one of the things I was talking a few years ago, talking to one of my old friends. This is he's a Vaishnavite, and he was telling, there's a little meaning to this hasta, where he's giving the boons, but that's not the right true way to see it. He's showing his feet. This is the feet you come and take, and you do Sharanagati here in this feet, and I will give you everything. So the way of perception and looking at the same form, each one has their own, way of looking at it. It is so amazing when I was talking about, is that the two thing, and then next paragraph here talking about Swami is talking about Sharanagati and Prapatti. The whole thing is about, it's just at a point you will feel that how much effort you put, that's nothing to do with, finally it is only by His grace everything happens. That whole thing to realize is what this whole Swami is talking about. You do your effort, put in, finally it is by His grace it's going to happen. So I am waiting for that Shreyas. How many years we are going to wait, how much time we are going to wait, whether so many births or it doesn't, but we are patiently working towards what He has told and go on working towards it, waiting for Him and praying to Him, and but with love, if we put our full effort to the Lord and love Him so much, He has no other choice. He has to come and give that, and His grace will flow to us. That's one thing that Shreyas and prayers we discussed enough, but that's what comes to my mind right now.
Yeah, the way you said, your friend said that, look at the feet. That's why it depends in spirituality, everything depends upon the perception. Most of the people, why do they go to God? For fulfilling their desires. That's why they want boon. If you say no desires, forget about it. We'll see, go to somebody else, they say. So God, one most popular, that's why my mother used to say, Shidi Baba. Oh, she loved Shidi. Anytime I want desire, I will go to Shidi Baba. this Baba, you will give just bhakti. For bhakti, I will go to this Baba. So like that, each one, and even Swami, when he was in physical form, says, go to the old man. So if somebody wants to say, go to the old man. So it is each one, because we want their desires to be fulfilled. That is why Lord Krishna said they're also devotees, arto, jijnasu, artati, jnani. But their person is the person who really is your friend. He says he wants to surrender. That is the last stage. But to come to that stage, people have to finish. They have to have their desires fulfilled, their inquisitiveness fulfilled. But ultimate stage is that to have that. So for that is God's grace is needed. Otherwise, you will be caught with this. You get when you are a young person. Even me, I did that. You want to find number one rank in the class, and then you want to get the best place, your residency program. Then you want to get the best place to practice. Like that, we go on desire. But ultimately, you realize this will never end. So just ultimately, you realize this. Stop it. God knows what is the best for us to have. So then you surrender to Him. Here, two things He said. Where did He put the chariot? In between the two opposing armies, between Kauravas and Pandavas. And where is this place? It's called Kurukshetra. Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre they call. Kuru means action. Kurukshetra means not just physical place is there, but is Kurukshetra means field of action. Everybody is involved in field of action, right? Whether at home, in the society, at work. So here in Kurukshetra is field of action. And what kind of Kurukshetra it is? Dharma Kshetre. So you should have in the field of action, you should be based on dharma. Dharma kshetre, kuru kshetre. When you are in the action, you should always make sure you are on the side of dharma. You are doing it on the basis of dharma. And this army, because the Kauravas, they are dharma people. And Pandavas, they follow dharma because Lord with Lord Krishna. Similarly in life, always this dharma will be there. Swami beautifully said in the time of Rama, where his dharma was in one country and adharma was there another country. Sri Rama was there in Bharat, and that's in Sri Lanka was there in this Ravana, demonic, even though he was a great devotee, in different places. Once it came to the Dwapara age, in the time of there, in the same family, both there are cousins, they're all in the same family, so it is in the same family, good and bad. The Kauravas, they had to fight among between the families. And in this Kali age, it is in the same person. We all have bad thing, we all have negative thing. So Swami says in the Treta Yuga, to kill the Adharma, he has to kill Ravana. In Dwapara Yuga, he has to kill all the
100 people.
Kauravas and their army. But in this age, if he kills, there's nobody left behind because everybody has got bad and good. So he came to transform so that we all become from the negative to the positive. That's why somebody was telling beautifully, who was sharing the other day, there was one Russian devotee was telling, they had a group of people, everybody was good. One guy was a little crazy, not behaving. It's like young boy or young man. He was creating mischief. I think you came that Harish was telling. Then they were complaining to Swami, this guy, throw him out of the ashram. He says, if I throw out all crazy people, there will be nobody left behind. He was telling, so like that, we are all different kind of things. So that is what Swami's love is. So this is, we should dharma to adharma. So we pray to God and lead the life on the basis of dharma. Second is, how do you do that? That is for that Shreyo Marg, Preyo Marg, we talked. That is why I was telling you, this is the taken from Upanishad. If you take Kathopanishad, what all it is about the Shreyo Marg and Preyo Marg. This Nachiketa, young boy, that's why you should see, is that kind of dedication. Sometimes life, this happens, we get distracted for this, job, vacation, luxury, family. But he has one pointed focus. I want self-knowledge. And Lord, Yama, he offered him, I'll give you all the wealth in the world. I'll give all the sense pleasure, luxuries. I'll give you all the power. That's what, right? Everybody wants, if you have all the wealth, you have all the power, you have all comfort, sense, you're happy. He offered everything. I said, I don't want, because this is all temporary. They will be there and gone. I want that by which I don't want anything more. It is knowledge of self-knowledge, Atma Vidya. That is why then Yama teaches him. There are two paths in life, Shreyo Marg, Preyo Marg. That means path which pleases you. Like you go to a nice place, have good party, have plenty of food, nice music, and some people do all these bad things, play cards or gamble. So they think it is pleasure, but it is joy, it is pleasure, it is joy, it is not real happiness. So that is called, all of them, they are called Preyo Marg. It is pleasing to your senses, whatever senses. But Shreyo Marg is the one which is good. Prayers means pleasing, Shreyas means which is good for you. Anything which takes you close to God, very simply for you, anybody, each one of us can self-audit. Is it prayers or Shreyas? You don't know. Anything which makes you think of God, that is Shreyas. If you come here, you are able to think of God, that is Shreyas. You go someplace, people talk about rubbish things, politics, criticism, other things, that makes you forget God. That means that is Preyo Marg, that's not Shreyo Marg. Anything which brings you closer to God, that is all Shreyo Marg. Anything which takes you away from God, whether in thought, word, and deed, any company, any book, any movies, whatever you do, it takes you away from God, that is not good, Preyo Marg. If you want spiritual goal, always stick to Shreyo Marg, which takes you towards God. Listen about God's stories, sing about His glories, be with people who love God, so that all will be connected, do His work, they'll all will be connecting to God. That is what he's talking about. You need to say Shreyo. Once you do the Shreyo, then finally a stage will come, Sharanagati. You don't care. Everything, Lord, thine will be done. But not that we are lazy. But that's why Swami said, very important, people in the name of, oh, I gave everything to God, become lazy. That is no. Yatna prayatnamul manava dharmam. That means effort and sincere effort. You not only just till it is done, you should have. Jayapajayamulu daivadhinam. The outcome, success or failure, is in God's hands. So, but he says, first thing is, your duty is to do effort and sincere effort. Try hard. It still happens, outcome, success or failure, it is in God's hands. That is the thing. So then real surrender comes. Till then, I gave to God, but really, you think you can do something, you should do about it. That is why Ramana Maharshi said, then what is the point of effort, Bhagawan, Ramana Maharshi, somebody asked, the effort is all the time you should do to realize at one stage that effort is of no use. That means only by God's grace things will happen. But that won't happen just till you really have personal experience. It's only intellectual concept. When you sincerely practice and do, hey, God, He is the one controlling. He is like a puppeteer. We are the puppets. You'll get that complete conviction. Till you get that, you won't have. Somebody says the movie, you could, oh, that's not good. You don't go. But people still, I used to say, my friends, they still hear that there's no good. But still they go there and see, it's not good. Come back and say the same thing. But they want to have the first-hand experience to be convinced that it's not good. So similarly, to see that this effort is completely is by grace. That is why everything, the very fact we are listening to Gita, we are reading the Gita, and then all this is by divine grace. That is why Adi Shankara, such a great Advaitic master, said in Viveka Chudamani, three things are only by God's grace. Manushyatvam, Mumukhyatvam, Mahapurusha Shamshayam. Being born as a human being itself is God's grace. Because there are billions of species of beings in this whole universe. And then there are many people even on the earth, 7.8 billion people. But Mumukhyatvam, to have interest in God, how many people are interested to go to church or synagogue, mosque, or Gurudwara, or temple, or satsang? Very few people, because most of the people, Swami says, Khana, Pina, Sona, Marna, there's all eating, drinking, sleeping, and that's what it is. The whole thing is, that is the most animalistic, that is the basic things. So actually my grandson came the other day and they brought a dog. So this, what does she say? It likes only three things. She says, what does she say? Likes to eat. You want to eat? And then go for a walk. That is good though, going for a walk in the morning. Again in the afternoon, he wants to eat, go for a walk, and then just sleep. So eating, sleeping, so that even dogs, everything does that. What is there special about human things? That mumukshatvam. We have love for God, love for truth. That is it. But it is easy to have that. But you have that, go on the spiritual path, is like a walking on a razor's edge. That is why Kathopanishad again says, in the Kathopanishad, Churasya Dhara. Because always temptations are there in the world. They can anytime take you down. Even Vishwamitra was fallen. There are many great saints. Will make Churasya. So to be that, for that you need Mahapurusha Samshrayam. You need to have a contact with a great soul. They will inspire you. Their life is their message. Like a Buddha, like a Jesus, like our Swami. Just thinking about them, being with them, they are not Mahapurushas. Mahapurushas is like great saints and sages like Ramana, Nisargadatta, and there are many great sages and saints, but this is Avatar Purusha, Purushottama. So just be having that is His grace. That is why Swami says, you don't know how lucky you are to have heard the name Sai. Many people, very few people have heard. The very fact we heard that name Sai itself is a sign of His grace. Otherwise, you would not even have heard about His name, see Him, and heard His words. So that is the sign of His greatest blessing on the Thanksgiving. Let us remember that is His sign of His grace. So, okay, we'll continue next week. Sai Ram.